When nobody seems to care, it's like we've lost our minds. You take a look at the news, crime is at an all-time high. We can't keep pretending to be blind. No more prayer in the schools. Now kids have one less good thing to choose, and now they're being killed in the classrooms. I wish I could take it all away, but all I can do is pray that things change. Something's gotta change. I can pray things change. We can't go on like this, the way that we so let's pray things change. We can't go on like this. We're living in a time where nobody seems to care. It's like we've lost our minds. HIV is on the rise, spreading throughout this land. We can't keep pretending to be blind.
How is everyone doing today? This is Derek Braggs, and I'm here to give you some weekly wisdom. If you're tuned in today, it's no coincidence. You are here because God is calling you to strengthen your faith. No matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter. I promise you by the end of this video, you'll have applicable tools and powerful Bible verses that you can refer to transform your life. So let's get into the scriptures. We all face challenges. Life happens to everyone. We all face challenges. And 1 Corinthians 15:13 says that there had no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So whether it's a season of personal struggle, doubts about your future, or feeling overwhelmed by the chaos that surrounds us, we've all been there. We've all been there. Life happens to us all again. But here's the thing. We are not called to just survive these seasons. I'm talking about the believers, those that believe in God. Okay. We are not just called to survive these seasons. We are called to thrive in these seasons. I need you to understand that clearly. And God has given us his word to strengthen us, which is the secret to thriving in tough times, right? His word is the secret. Okay. So the key is to have unwavering faith in him. That's the key. So by his word that strengthens us, it allows us to have unwavering faith in him. So you may be asking this question: what does unwavering faith look like? How do you build that kind of faith when everything seems to be falling apart? I understand it. Okay. Well, today we're going to explore 5 powerful Bible verses that will not only encourage you, but equip you with a deeper, unwavering faith that can withstand any storm. So the first point is counting it all joy. counting it all joy. In James 1, verse 2 says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be able and entire, wanting nothing. It becomes hard to understand how we should have joy in our trials. Well, here's the key. Trials are uncomfortable, yes, but they are not meaningless. They serve a greater purpose. And see, what we're understanding about this is that God doesn't waste our pain. Every difficulty is an opportunity to grow your faith, because it's in the pressure of those trials that God refines us. It's in those trials, in these moments, that God builds our character and strengthens our trust in Him. Now, how do you make this applicable? Well, the next time you face a challenge, instead of thinking, why me? Or why is this happening? Maybe you should ask yourself, what is God's lesson in this? What is God's lesson in this? What is God trying to teach me? Because if you can see your trials through the lens of growth, you'll find joy even in the hardship. The second scripture is faith as the assurance of things hoped for. See, this should be a no-brainer because we're talking about unwavering faith. So you got to have faith in order to have unwavering faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Listen, faith is not wishful thinking or hoping that everything works out. True biblical faith is confidence in God's promises and His assurances that He has already worked it out. So faith is believing that even when you can't see the solution, it's already done. You knowing that it's already done. You have to know that it's already done. Now, how do you make this applicable? You have to remove all doubt. Remove all doubt. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that with faith, it is not necessary to see the answer first. That's important. Instead, it requires trusting that God is able and He is in control. So even when it doesn't feel like it, your faith must remain stronger. Because the key to this is understanding that Satan, the enemy, he wants you to believe that God is a lie. And this is why doubt is the opposite of faith. Okay? This is why fear destroys faith. Okay? But if I could ask you a question, that question would be, will you believe God or will you believe the enemy? So do not allow the enemy to create doubt, because as people of God, we have to believe God. We can't get caught up. We can't become afraid. We can't begin to doubt, because that's going to cancel faith. And if you doubt, your faith is canceled, then you believe the enemy. Okay. The third Bible verse that I want to give to you is, all you need is a little bit of faith. In Matthew 17:20, it says, and Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Now, the disciples has come to Jesus and asked him a question. Why weren't we able to do this? And he said, because of your unbelief, because they doubted. And that's what happens with doubt. Doubt and faith can't inhabit the same space. Okay. So what this verse is declaring is that the size of your faith doesn't matter. You don't need perfect, massive faith to make the miracles happen. All you need is a small amount of true faith in a powerful God. So it says a mustard seed. A mustard seed is very tiny. It's very tiny. But when it is planted, it grows into something strong and very fruitful. Now, how do you make this applicable? Well, if you feel like your faith is small or fragile, you can't allow that to discourage you. Even the tiniest bit of faith can move mountains. And notice it didn't say that you'll be able to climb the mountain. Nah, that's easy to climb the mountain. Nah, and I remember being a kid. We said there was this song, Lord, you don't have to move my mountain, but give me the strength to climb. Well, that's not biblical, because what God said is the faith to move the mountain, not to climb the mountain, because you can train to climb the mountain. No, that's not what God said. God said you have to have faith in order to tell the mountain to be removed. Okay. All right. So the key is to just keep believing in God's promises and watch him move in your life. The fourth Bible verse is about understanding that God works all things together for your good. In Romans 8:28, it says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Now, if you know me, you know that this is my favorite scripture. This is my favorite scriptures because it said, no matter what, God is working it for my good. No matter how bad it seems, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, God is working it for my good. I know that it's going to be beneficial. Now listen, but let's be real, because life doesn't always feel good. We go through difficult, heartbreaking situations that don't seem to make sense sometimes, But this verse assures us that God is always working behind the scenes, and he's bringing about his good purpose, even in your pain, even in our pain. This is what he's doing. And when we remember this truth, it changes how we approach everything. See, we may not see the full picture in that moment, but God sees the end from the beginning, and he's putting it all together. He has put it all together. He has already worked it out. You see? So how do you make this applicable? You have to trust that no matter what you are going through right now, in this moment, it's temporary. And God is using whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, for your good and for his glory, for your good and for his glory. Even when we can't see it, trust that God is at work. Okay. And now my last Bible verse is about renewing your strength. Isaiah 40:31 says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run, they shall not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. You have that promise that God will renew your strength, okay? When you're tired, when you're weary, okay? When you feel like giving up, when it feels like life is taking a toll on you and you have nothing left. Here's another assurance. The key is that your hope must be in the Lord. See, because when we place our hope in him, He supernaturally renews us. He spiritually renews us. He gives us the strength to keep going, even when we don't feel like it, even when we think that we can't even take another step. That's what happens, because we have to understand that our ceiling is God's floor. Our ceiling is God's floor. Okay? All right? Let's understand it. So, how do we make this applicable? Well, when you feel exhausted, spiritually or emotionally, especially physically, you go to God in prayer. There's your key. When you feel exhausted, when you feel that I just can't, I don't know how, I don't know about this, you go to God in prayer. Because again, our ceiling is God's floor, because He's the source of our strength. He's the source of strength. He's the source of your strength. And He never will, He cannot, He will not ever run out of power. So here's the thing. You have to turn your faith into action, right? Because how we make these truths, how we take these truths and turn them into unwavering faith is, it starts with consistency, right? And you got to realize that these verses aren't just nice thoughts for us to just think about, to ponder on. Nah, these are spiritual principles to live by, and we live by them daily. These are spiritual principles to live by daily. Break it down moment by moment. Moment by moment. These are the principles that you use. So you embrace your trials as opportunities for growth. Stand firm in your confidence in God. It means to stand in His promises, stand on His promises, even when you can't see the outcome. Then you have to, as people of God, we have to believe God. This is just believing that even the smallest faith can move mountains. Again, not climb mountains, not climb the mountain, move the mountains. Because let me say this, because when you speak things that are not biblical, you're wasting your time. Okay? So you have to, your faith is in what God says. Not, I'm going to take a piece of that. Well, I don't need that to be done, so I'm going to just ask for that. Nah. You ask for what God says to ask for. You ask for what God has said that, okay, this is available to you. Okay? The next thing, you have to trust that God is always working behind the scenes. Even when things don't make sense, trust God. And the last one is to renew your strength in the Lord. When you feel weary, when you feel like giving up, He's the one who gives you power to keep going. Now, let me say this. In these Bible verses that I've given you today, with these Bible verses that I've given you today, I want to make sure that you understand them, that you apply them. And my thing is, Derek is not here to convince you of anything, to make you believe what I believe. Nah, I'm giving you an option. I'm giving you some information that will allow you to make an informed decision. Because what I found out is that there are so many people that are lost. And when I talk to them, they'll tell me, yeah, I don't do that. God is saying all of these different things. But when I talk to them, I realize that they don't understand. The reason why it doesn't make sense, the reason why it's not working, is because they don't have the proper information to make an informed decision. They don't have the proper information, the proper truth in order to apply it in their life. So when you don't have the truth, you don't begin with the truth. You don't have your foundation is not the truth. Then what you're trying will never work. And the enemy wants to create the doubt. The enemy wants you to believe that God is a lie. So what the enemy will do, hey, since you don't have the truth anyway, is just sneak in and say, yeah, everybody got a God. You know how many gods there are? And if you didn't know that, if you don't know who the one true God is, the creator of all, if you don't know that God, then it's easy for you to say that, oh, wow, I didn't know they had 4,000, 40,000 religions, whatever. That's what will happen when you don't know the truth. God is not asking for religion. He's asking for a relationship. You see, that's a huge difference. So if these Bible verses connected with you today, I encourage you to just take this moment, and I want you to follow me, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share the video, especially share the video with someone who might need to increase their faith, because we're getting ready to go into some difficult times. Times is about to get crazy, and you're going to need the truth. You're going to need something to stand on. You're going to need something to remind you that no matter how crazy it seems, that, hey, you're going to be all right. Even when it comes knocking at your door, you're going to need something that lets you know that, okay, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It doesn't say that the weapons won't be used. It doesn't say that the weapons won't affect you. It says that it won't prosper. So in the end, everything's going to be all right. So just remember that with God, all things are possible. Keep standing firm in faith. And until next time, God bless you and keep you. And I will see you next week.